Two cruisers rolled to a stop in front of my place at Cedar Lake Meadows, lights washing the porch blue and red, and the HOA president. Brenda Collins stood in the walkway yelling, "Officer, arrest her for defying the community," pointing at my wife Lily like we were criminals. And then the Sergeant Torres just looked at her and said, calm as sunrise, "Show me your orders and legal authority," and the whole street went quiet, like somebody hit mute on the world. My name is Alex Monroe. I investigate insurance fraud for a living, which means I can smell a fake, the way a hound smells rain. We moved here for the water, and the quiet, and the little strip of garden where my daughter Sophie could grow cucumbers on the window rail, and for a week it was picture perfect. Neighbors waving lawns trimmed like barbershop fades. You know what I mean. That gleam that makes you think life finally clicked. On day 3 at 7:10 a.m., Brenda showed up in a polo with the HOA logo and khakis creased like a ruler clipboard, tucked to her ribs like a badge. No welcome, cookies, just rules, fired like nails from a gun. Everyone joins within 72 hours. Emergency assessment is $500. Today, non-compliance is $500 a day, and I said easy as breathing. Great. Show me your bylaws, the county registration number, minutes from the vote, and the enforcement authority. And she did this thin little smile. You don't need to see that. Rules are rules. And Lily, without a word, lifted the papers into the morning light, checked the watermark, took photos of every page slow and steady, the way you do when you know today's drizzle is tomorrow's storm. Then the game started. A non-compliance sticker slapped on our door at 6 a.m. for flag displayed before permitted hours. 2 volunteers in neon vests measuring our grass, one of them using some gadget to claim the shade line was wrong. $300 sign here, and when I asked who signed their authority, they said the board. Like those 2 words could turn paper into law. And here's the part that put ice on my spine. Brenda rattled off my mortgage figure, the time Lily leaves for work. Even my old truck's plate details that weren't on any neighborhood welcome sheet. And I thought, oh, someone's been digging where they shouldn't. The neighborhood forum it up that night with a brand new account posting that the new couple is against community safety. The next morning, Ruth, the cookie lady with silver hair and soft eyes, stopped by with a pie and questions that floated like feathers but landed like stones. When does Lily head out? I'd love to drop seeds. Do you host clients here? I don't want to interrupt. And I smiled and dodged, but felt my ribs tighten because kindness with a clipboard is still a clipboard. Trash pickup skipped our can. For the first time in years, the streetlight at the corner flickered into permanent night. Strangers strolled past, filming our fence, and then 3 of my clients called about anonymous tips, questioning my ethics. One canceled a case I had worked for months, and that night I found Sophie on the stairs with her knees to her chest, eyes red. Kids at school, said Mom's FBI, and that's why we won't join. Is that true? And I swear my heart fell through the treads. I told her, no, baby, your mom's not a spy. And even if she were, nobody gets to bully us behind fake rules. Law is law. I spread Brenda's documents across my desk under the lamp, and the tells glowed like neon mismatched fonts, a watermark ghosting like a scan job. Signatures with the traced hesitation. I've seen 100 times, and in the morning I called the county, gave them the HOA registration code on the letterhead, and the clerk said, "We have no record of any Cedar Lake Meadows HOA. Matter of fact, no drama. click of a keyboard. Turning a kingdom into cardboard, yeah, that happened. Around lunchtime, Monica from the end of the street, mid-divorce, walked up hugging a plastic folder like a life preserver. "You need to see this," she said, and inside was a script. Brenda had given her for persuasion. Bullet points on fear words like safety and compliance, a spreadsheet of 47 households tagged, responds to pressure. Elderly, likely to sign families with young kids. Avoid conflict, and photos of Lily's car with timestamps where she parks. What nights she works late, and Monica's voice shook, Brenda said. If I helped the court would see me as a community leader, I hate that I believed her. That evening, Brenda came back with 3 people and a phone on a selfie stick streaming live. "Tonight the Monroes will apologize and enroll like responsible neighbors," she announced. And Lily, calm as a lake at dawn, said, "Show me your legal authority." And Brenda dialed the sheriff, claiming we were a threat to community security. And while everyone crowded the front walk, I slipped along the fence line and saw it. A trail camera tucked in the pines, where the angle cut straight into our kitchen. And back door weatherproofed, perfectly placed. Not a hobbyist job, I pulled the card. Plugged it in and watched a backyard council meet by patio light. Brenda and Ruth and 2 others, slicing the neighborhood into buckets, single parent, fear of court widowed, avoids confrontation cash strapped, leverage payment plan. And I've seen fraud up close, but hearing people treated like inventory, that hits a different bone. I called Torres. We had worked a fire claim together once I said I have forged documents, a covert camera with taped strategy and a county denial of registration. I need you here by the book. No favors. Just a citizen handing the system its tools. When the patrol cars rolled in, neighbors poured out like a school. Just let out, Brenda held up fresh printouts. Chin high. These are our enforcement papers. And Torres put on gloves. Flipped pages, measured his words. Show me the founding order. County Registration Board, election, minutes, and explicit enforcement authority. And Brenda tried the soft shoe. We're self-governing, and he cut in. Self-governing is not self-deputizing. Do you have the numbers? And there was wind, but no answer. So I gave him the USB. He scanned the footage, scanned Monica's folder, held a sheet near the light. This signature is a paste. The seal is from the wrong county, and this code does not exist. Saying it loud enough to carry to the far curb, and people shifted. The air changed, and Ruth's smile fell off her face like a leaf. Brenda pulled out a shiny badge holder. Said, "We're coordinating with a higher agency," and Torres didn't blink. Then show me the order, the signer and the confirmation contact I'll verify. And that was it. The hinge turned, and Monica stepped forward with the list of 47. All those private weak spots weaponized. And Torres nodded like a man who had seen enough, "Ma'am. You have the right to remain silent. You're coming with us for questioning." And her clipboard hit the concrete with a clap. You could feel in your molars. I wish I could tell you I cheered that I took a victory lap around the block. What I felt first was Sophie's small hand in mine and the weight sliding off my shoulders. The sound of a neighborhood hearing the difference between authority and costume, because that's what it was. A costume with a chorus. And all it took to strip it away was one sentence, said at the right volume. Show me your orders. Some of you will ask why we didn't just move. Sure, I priced the trucks. I mapped the routes I pictured leaving before sunrise with Sophie asleep in the back and Lily holding the travel mug. And then I pictured the next family here, getting the same knock, the same sticker, the same whisper campaign. and I wasn't built to teach my kid that the way you deal with bullies is to hand them the sidewalk. So we stayed. We did the unglamorous thing. We documented. We asked questions. We waited for the knock and answered. With the law. After the cuffs, Ruth stepped out of the crowd. Voice small, I installed the camera. I thought it was for safety. She told me I'd be seen as a burden if I didn't help. And Torres asked, "Where did the personal data come from?" And Ruth stared at Brenda, then down at her own shoes. She gave it to me. Said it was public. I don't know. And I didn't feel triumph. I felt the ache of how fear can turn decent people into tools, how fast it happens when the word safety gets sharpened. Torres explained it for everyone to hear, simple and clean. No one owes a dime to a fake. HOA, no one must submit to inspection without lawful order. When someone demands compliance, ask for the code number, the signer, and the registry. Real authority welcomes verification, and I swear half the phones lowered slowly, like people just realized how many posts they had boosted without a single check. It should have ended there, but as they walked Brenda to the car, she leaned toward Lily and whispered something. I watched my wife, normally ice under pressure, flinch like a cold hand touched her spine. I asked what she said, and Lily shook her head. Nothing. We can't handle. Let's go inside. And that night with the kettle singing, and Sophie tugging the curtains straight. The question kept tapping my skull. Was it a last-minute threat, or a breadcrumb about some bigger machine that feeds on neighborhoods like ours? Data and silence and pressure and money out. And I don't have that answer yet. Maybe I never will. Morning came anyway. I hung the flag at 6:15. I made coffee. The trash truck rumbled up like old times. Monica brought sunflower starts and stuck them at the seam between our lawns. Kids need a landmark that says safe, she said. And I believed her. And when I walked past Ruth's window, I saw the faded floral curtain and hoped she was sleeping in for once. Here's where I leave it in your hands because it's bigger than us. It's about the moment someone in a polo shows up with a clipboard and a smile that doesn't reach their eyes about how easy it is to let small fear buy big control and how ordinary it is to take it back, not with shouting, but with questions that hook into the truth. Like anchors, so tell me. Below, have you ever met a Brenda at work, at school, on your block? What did you do when someone tried to borrow the word community to make you small? Where's the line between order and overreach in your town? And if you had been on my porch that night, would you have said it with me? Show me your orders. Because if this story gives you that sentence at the right time, then it was worth every long night we lived to learn it.